evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Brazil. Brazil's federal police formally accused the country's former justice minister, who served under ex-president Jair Bolsonaro, of acting to block voters in an opposition stronghold from reaching polling stations in the 2022 presidential election. The former minister Anderson Torres was accused of political violence alongside the ex-chief of Brazil's Federal Highway Police, Silvani Vasquez, and four other people. Local news outlet G1 reported the political violence charges earlier on Friday. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva won the 2022 election in a tight runoff against far-right incumbent Bolsonaro. On the day of the runoff, there were widespread allegations that Brazil's Federal Highway Police illegally blocked roads in the country's poor northeast, a historic bastion of Lula support. The allegations sparked fears of potential voter suppression that could benefit Bolsonaro. The charges are the latest response to alleged efforts to impede the transfer of power both before and after the 2022 vote. After the election, both Torres and Vasquez were jailed for alleged roles in an attack on the Supreme Court, Congress, and the presidential palace by a right-wing crowd protesting the election results. Bolsonaro was banned from holding office until 2030 for spreading election falsehoods. Torres' legal defense said it will not comment until it gains access to the police decision. Vasquez's legal defense said it's not concerned by the accusation, adding that Vasquez's case does not fit in law that police are accusing him of breaking. While in Trinidad and Tobago, 4 more homicides were reported between Saturday night and Sunday morning. The deceased have been identified as Kevin Shrek Lucas, Shireen Salandi, David Best 46, and Jamil James 35. Lucas and Salandi were fatally shot at about 3 a.m. on Sunday along the Buru Highway in Sangre Grande. According to initial reports, Lucas and Salandi were said to be liming along the roadway when residents of the area heard a series of loud explosions. Upon investigating, they found both men lying on the roadway in pools of blood. The police and paramedics were notified, however, they both died shortly after. The scene was visited by a team of officers from the Eastern Division as well as the Homicide Bureau. Several spent shells were said to have been recovered. About 2 hours earlier, Best, who was a private hire driver, was fatally shot along Kangali Street in Valencia. 2 other persons, a 41-year-old man and a 30-year-old woman, were also injured in the incident. At about 12:05 a.m. on Sunday, a group of persons were said to be attending the wake of a woman who died recently along Kangali Street when 2 men dressed in what appeared to be uniforms of members of the TNT Police Service and the TNT Regiment were observed standing along the roadway. Both men were masked and said to be holding firearms. The suspects opened fire on the group without warning, hitting the 3 individuals. Best was shot in the face and chest. The 41-year-old man was shot to his right shoulder, while the 30-year-old woman was shot in her left leg. The suspects were then observed running behind a nearby property and onto a track that leads to Valencia Bypass Road. The police and paramedics were notified, and a team of officers from the Eastern Division and the Homicide Bureau responded. 12 spent 9mm shells were found on the scene of the shooting. Police currently have no motive for this incident. James of Chandy Lane in San Juan was fatally shot at about 6:30 p.m. on Saturday in Morvant. Police were told that residents of Westmore Road in 2nd Caledonia heard gunshots, and upon investigating, they observed a Hyundai Tucson parked nearby. It appeared to have been shot up, and both left passenger doors were open. No one was in the vehicle at the time. The police were notified, and officers from the Northeastern Division Task Force responded. James' bullet-riddled body was found hidden in some bushes near the roadway. He had been shot in the head and chest. 6 spent 9mm shells as well as 2 live rounds of 9mm ammunition were found at the scene, police said. A team of officers led by ASP Calendar from the Northeastern Division, as well as the Homicide Bureau, responded. WPC believes continuing inquiries. While police do not have an official motive for the incident, based on initial intelligence, the killing has been classed as gang-related. Finally, news from Venezuela. An oil spill which appeared to originate from Venezuela's El Palito refinery several days ago has contaminated a bay off the country's north-central coast in the Caribbean Sea. Biologist Eduardo Klein posted satellite images on X that he said showed an oil slick of about 225 square kilometers, 87 square miles in the Gulf Triste, and completely covering Morocoy National Park, known for beaches lined with palm trees and mangroves. There was no immediate comment from the state-owned company Petróleos de Venezuela, PDVSA, or the oil ministry. The El Palito refinery, with a capacity to process 146,000 barrels of crude oil per day, is Venezuela's smallest oil refining complex and located in the Puerto Cabello municipality on the coast of the central state of Carabobo. Thank you for watching. Do have a productive week. Until next time.